Hello dear students and teachers, welcome back to my channel. In this video we will learn about introduction to the unit coordinate geometry. Coordinate geometry is very simple and scoring unit, and also it is very interesting. From the examination point of view, you can expect one MCQ, that is objective type question. Then you can expect one mark question, that is very short answer. Then you can expect one 2 mark question, that is short answer. Then you can expect one 3 mark question, that is long answer type question. In total you can expect 7 marks for your exam. Dear students, do watch the complete video and video series, because I'll be solving the entire textbook questions. With that, I'll solve the important questions from the board papers. Dear students, chapter wise videos, important questions, passing package and scoring package, MCQ question and application questions and worksheet, and also I'll be solving question papers, that is previous year question papers, in my channel. So if you find my videos are useful, do subscribe the channel and join my Telegram group. I'll be sharing all these PDFs, notes, question papers, worksheets in my Telegram group. Students, if you are following my channel and this chapter wise videos, so do keep a separate notebook. Do make a note of all these questions with answers and also the additional questions and points. Definitely it is going to help you. I'll try to finish the portion as soon as possible, and we'll try to revise as many questions papers as possible, so that you can score good marks in your exam. Maths you can learn by practicing more number of questions. I'll try to solve as many questions as possible after finishing the portions. Dear students, coordinate geometry is the link between the geometry and the algebra. And a coordinate plane is a two-dimensional surface formed by two number lines. You can see in the graph sheet, the coordinate plane is formed by the two number lines, that is the horizontal line is called as x-axis and the vertical line is called as y-axis. That is, a coordinate plane is formed by two number lines. The horizontal line is called as x-axis and the vertical line is called as y-axis. Students, very important concept. The horizontal line is called as x-axis and the vertical line is called as y-axis. You can observe it in this graph. The vertical line is called as x-axis and the horizontal line is called as x-axis and the vertical line is called as y-axis. And a point is of the form x comma y. X is called as x coordinate and y is called as y coordinate. This coordinate can be positive, negative or 0 depending on the location of the point in the respective quadrants. The axis, that is x-axis and y-axis, divides the coordinate plane into four quadrants, that is quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3 and quadrant 4. The intersection of x-axis and y-axis is called as origin. The coordinates of origin are 0, 0. Make a note of this point, that is the point at which the x-axis and y-axis intersects. The point at which the x-axis and y-axis intersect is called as origin. Important MCQ question: what is the coordinate of the origin? That is 0, 0. The coordinates of origin are 0, 0. This has been asked many times in the board exam. Students, hopefully you have understood that a coordinate plane is nothing but it contains two number lines. The horizontal line is called as x-axis and the vertical line is called as y-axis. The intersection of these two lines is the origin, that is 0, 0. Now it divides the plane into four quadrants. The axis divides the plane into four quadrants, that is first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant and fourth quadrant. In the first quadrant, x coordinate is positive and y coordinate is positive, that is positive x-axis and positive y-axis. In the second quadrant, the x coordinate is minus and the y coordinate is plus. In the third quadrant, x coordinate is negative and the y coordinate is also negative. In the fourth quadrant, the x coordinate is positive and the y coordinate is negative. Now students, consider a point P of 3, 4. Consider a point P of 3, 4 in the first quadrant. Now the distance of this point from the y-axis, the distance of this point from the y-axis is called as x coordinate or abscissa. The distance of this point from the y-axis is called as abscissa. In the same way, the distance of this point from the x-axis is called as ordinate or y-axis. See here, the distance of point. Students, make a note of all these points. It will be very useful for MCQ or 1 mark question. The distance of a point from the y-axis is called as abscissa, and in the same way the distance of a point from the x-axis is called as ordinate. Hopefully you have understood the concept of abscissa and ordinate. Now consider another point Q of 2, 3. The distance of this point from the y-axis is abscissa. The same way, the distance of the point Q from the x-axis is ordinate. The next important point is any point on the x-axis. Any point on the x-axis is of the form x, 0. Any point on the x-axis is of the form x, 0. In the same way, any point on the y-axis is of the form 0 comma y. That is, if we consider any point on the x-axis, it will be of the form x comma 0. Here it is 2 comma 0. In the same way, any point on the y-axis will be of the form 0 comma y. Here it is 0 comma 3. Understand, it is very important concept. Any point on the x-axis is of the form x comma 0. In the same way, any point on the y-axis will be of the form 0 comma y. Make a note of these points. The coordinates of a point on the x-axis is of the form x comma 0. In the same way, the coordinates of a point on the y-axis is of the form 0 comma y. To understand it, we'll solve few questions based on finding the distance of a point from the x-axis and the y-axis, which is very important for your MCQ as well as 1 mark question. First question, we should find out the distance of the point 3 comma 4 from x-axis and y-axis. From x-axis and from y-axis, the distance of this point P of 3 comma 4 from the x-axis. X-axis will be its y coordinate. The distance of the point P from the x-axis will be its y coordinate, that is 4 units. The same way, the distance of point P from the y-axis will be its x coordinate, that is 3 units. Very simple. If we consider a point, the distance of that point from the x-axis will be its y coordinate. For y-axis, it will be its x coordinate. In the same way, we'll solve another question. We need to find out the distance of the point A of minus 5 comma 7 from x-axis and from the y-axis. From x-axis, it will be its y coordinate. What is the y coordinate here? The y coordinate is 7. Therefore, it is 7 units. Now, we'll find out the distance of this point from y-axis. If you want to find out the distance of this point from the y-axis, it will be its x coordinate. But x coordinate is negative, distance cannot be negative. Take it as plus 5 units. Since distance cannot be negative, I have taken it as plus 5 units. Third question, distance of the point Q of 0 comma 5 from x-axis and from y-axis. From the x-axis, it is its y coordinate, that is 5 units. Whereas from the y-axis, it will be its x coordinate, that is 0 units. That means the point is on the y-axis. A point is of the form 0 comma y, means it is on y-axis. In the same way, x comma 0, this point is on x-axis. Students, make a note of all these points, then you watch it again and again to understand all this concept. There are few practice questions for you. Find out the distance of the point B of 8 comma 10 from the x-axis and y-axis. Another question, point C of 6 comma minus 7 from x-axis and y-axis. Make a note that the distance cannot be negative. So if you get a negative coordinate, take it as positive only when you are finding out distance from the x-axis and from the y-axis. Students will do a small recap before moving to the next concept. Coordinate plane is a two-dimensional surface formed by x-axis and y-axis. X-axis is the horizontal line, whereas y-axis is the vertical line. The intersection of x-axis and y-axis is the origin. The x-axis and y-axis divides the plane into 4 quadrants. In quadrant 1, x is positive and y is positive. In second quadrant, x is negative and y is positive. In third quadrant, both x coordinate and y coordinate are negative. In the fourth quadrant, x is positive and y is negative. The same way, the distance of a point from the y-axis is called as abscissa or x-coordinate. The distance of a point from the x-axis is called its y-coordinate or ordinate. The distance of a point from the y-axis is called as abscissa. The distance of a point from the x-axis is called as ordinate. The coordinates of a point on the x-axis. On the x-axis, it is of the form x comma 0. The coordinates of a point on the y-axis, it is of the form 0 comma y. And we have solved few questions which is very important for your exam. That is 1 mark question, finding the distance of the following points from the x-axis as well as y-axis. From the x-axis, it will be its y coordinate. From the y-axis, it will be its x coordinate. There are few practice questions for you. Find out by yourself. Students, if you have any doubt, do join my Telegram group, and if you have any doubts, you can post it over there or you can text me. Now moving to the next important concept, distance formula, that is finding the distance between the 2 points, which is very important. The whole chapter depends or concentrates on finding the distance between the 2 points. Consider point P of x1 y1 and Q of x2 y2 in a plane. The distance between these 2 points, let me consider it as d. Now we'll find out the distance between the point P of x1 y1 and Q of x2 y2 by using the concept of Pythagoras theorem. In a right angle triangle, the square of the hypotenuse is equal to sum of squares of other two sides, that is c square, which is equal to a square plus b square. The square on the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of squares on the other two sides. By using this concept, we will derive the distance formula, that is the distance between the 2 points P of x1 y1 and Q of x2 y2. Students, now what I'll do, I'll draw a line perpendicular to the x-axis from both the points. So this derivation will not be there for your exam, but you need to understand the concept. That is, I have drawn the perpendicular line to the x-axis from the points P and Q. Now it forms a right angle triangle PQT, where it is right angled at T. Now we can say that the square on the hypotenuse, that is PQ square, equals PT square plus QT square. By using the concept of Pythagoras theorem, the square and the hypotenuse, that is PQ square, equals PT square plus QT square. Now what is PQ? PQ is the distance between the points P and Q. I'll write it as D or PQ square as it is. Now what is PT? We need to find out the length PT and the length QT. Now consider the points R and S. Students, now the distance PT equals OS minus OR. If you need to find out PT, which is nothing but OS minus OR, if we subtract OS minus OR, we get PT, which is equal to RS. What is OS? OS is nothing but the distance of point Q from the y-axis, which is x2. In the same way, what is OR? It is x1. Therefore, PT equals x2 minus x1. In the same way, we'll find out QT. Q2 equals QS minus TS. QS minus TS will get you QT. What is QS? The distance of point Q from x-axis, and TS is the distance of point P from x-axis, that is y2 minus y1. Now we have got the distance PT and QT. Now what is PT? PT is nothing but x2 minus x1 whole square. What is QT? y2 minus y1 whole square. Now the distance between the point P of x1 y1 and Q of x2 y2, PQ equals, now I'll remove the square and I'll put the square root on the other side. We get the distance between the 2 points is given by x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. Students, you need to remember this formula. The distance between the 2 points is given by the formula PQ equals square root of x2 minus x1 whole square and y2 minus y1 the whole square. Students, do repeat with me. The distance between the points P of x1 y1 and Q of x2 y2 is given by the formula PQ equals square root of x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. Make a note of it. The distance between the points P of x1 y1 and Q of x2 y2 is given by the formula square root of x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. The same way, the distance between the points P of x comma y from the origin will be just OP equals square root of x square plus y square. If we substitute the origin coordinates in this distance formula, we get OP equals square root of x square plus y square. We can also write this distance formula as, instead of x2 minus x1, I can write as x1 minus x2. y2 minus y1 can also be written as y1 minus y2, because 2 square is same as minus 2 whole square, because 2 square is nothing but 2 into 2, we get 4. The same way minus 2 square is nothing but minus 2 into minus 2, minus into minus plus, 2 2s are 4. In the same way, x2 minus x1 whole square or x1 minus x2 whole square remains same. Hence, both the formulas can be used to solve the problems. Students, hopefully you have understood all this concept. Make a note and do repeat with me. The distance between the points, the distance between 2 points is given by the formula d equals square root of x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. And the distance between the point and the origin is given by the formula just square root of x square plus y square. Now we'll solve few examples to learn it better. Now we'll find out the distance between the points 4, 6 and 7, 10. Now consider 4, 6 as x1, y1 and 7, 10 as x2, y2. Now what is the distance formula? Distance formula d equals what? Square root of x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. Now d equals, what is x2? x2 is 7, y2 is 10, x1 is 4, y1 is 6. Now square root of, just substitute the values. What is x2? x2 is 7 minus x1 is 4 whole square plus, what is y2? y2 is 10 minus y1 is 6 whole square. We get square root of 7 minus 4 is 3 square, 10 minus 6 is 4 square. Now d equals square root of 3 square is 9 and 4 square is 16. Therefore we get d equals 9 plus 16 is 25. What is square root of 25? Square root of 25 is 5 units. Therefore the distance between the points 4, 6 and 7, 10 is 5 units. One more question I'll solve and try to solve with me itself. We need to find out the distance between the points 9, 2 and 10, 4. I'll consider 9, 2 as x1, y1 and 10, 4 as x2, y2. What is x1? x1 is 9, y1 is 2. What is x2? x2 is 10, y2 is 4. Now distance formula d equals square root of x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. Now just substitute the values. What is x2? x2 is 10 minus x1 is 9 whole square. What is y2? y2 is 4 minus y1 is 2 whole square. Now what we get? What is 10 minus 9? 10 minus 9 is 1 square as it is. What is 4 minus 2? 4 minus 2 is 2 square as it is. Now d equals square root of 1 square is 1 and 2 square is 4. We get 1 plus 4 equals 5. Now root 5 cannot be simplified. Therefore the distance between the points is root 5 units. Students, hopefully you are able to understand the problems what I am solving. This is just examples to understand. Now we'll find out the distance between the point and the origin. The distance between the point and the origin is given by the formula D equals square root of x square plus y square. It is just square root of x square plus y square. D equals square root of x square plus y square. What is x? X is 3, y is 4. Now D equals x square is 3 square plus y square is 4 square. We get what is 3 square? 3 square is 9, 4 square is 16. We get D equals 9 plus 16 is 25. That is square root of 25. What is square root of 25? It is 5. Therefore, the distance between the point 3, 4 and the origin is 5 units. In the same way, the next question, the distance between the point 6, 8 and the origin, x is 6 and y is 8. Now D equals square root of what is x? That is 6 square plus y square is, that is 8 square. What we get? What is 6 square? 6 square is 36. 8 square is 64. Now what we get? D equals 36 plus 64 is 100. What is square root of 100? Square root of 100 is 10. Therefore, the distance between the point 6, 8 and the origin is 10 units. Students, make a note of all these questions. Definitely it will be helpful. While watching, do watch once and make a note again. All these questions make you to understand the concepts better. Students, this is the introduction to the unit coordinate geometry. Next video will solve the complete exercise 7.1 with examples and questions from the board papers. Until then, try to practice all these questions. This PDF I'll post it in the Telegram group, and if you find my videos are useful, do subscribe the channel and also do share with your friends. Thank you for watching the video. Hopefully you have understood all this concept and the problems. With this, we'll solve few more questions which involves the negative coordinates in the next class. Until then, try to practice all these questions. Thank you for watching the video.